being in a place that's too bright, there's people screaming, smells a bit funny, you're not really sure if it's bleach or something a lot worse. There's a crowd of people. They come, introduce themselves one by one, tell you something that you can't really understand, you don't really comprehend what they've said, and then they vanish before you can understand a thing. You're not really sure why you're there. There's a thin curtain surrounding you, and next to you there's a person laying in a bed with their daughter holding their hand, watching them take their final breaths. And just meters away, it's me, sitting there, my first day working in emergency medicine. In medical school, we're taught, always start with the basics. Know them, learn them, trust them, and always go back to them. No different to normal school, we start with the alphabet. They just mean little things a little bit different. We start with our airway, our breathing, circulation, disability, and exposure. And don't forget the glucose. But unlike normal school, we're trained to observe. From the moment we call your name and watch you walk into a room, we're watching you walk, we're watching you sit down, we're watching how you breathe. Are you comfortable? Are you moments away from dying? But while we're trained to see you, we often get distracted and forget what it actually feels like to be you. You're probably uncomfortable, you're probably terrified, having the worst day of your life, pain, scared, and no understanding of what's actually happening. When we take a step back from this, the job that we do is so unusual. And we need to remember, beyond the roles, beyond the titles, beyond the system that surrounds us, we are actually a human first. The patient in the bed, the family member holding the hand next to them, the nurses adjusting the medications, and the doctor making and driving those decisions are human first. In medicine, we don't often just play in the space of life. We often uncomfortably walk a fine line and deal with death. Yet despite this, we often don't talk about it. Not openly, not honestly, and not enough. There was one woman that I was looking after, and she was 95. She was very unwell. She was dying. She knew it. Her family knew that. The team knew that. It was decided that she'd go down the palliative care pathway. Her family were agreeing. She was in a room with 2 beds, but luckily the bed next to her was spare. That night, that room held something special and so rare in a hospital. Stillness. But the next morning when I started my shift, that stillness disappeared and vanished. The machine, the system, the buzz began. And I started hearing about it, call after call after call. When can we get that bed? Can we move this patient? How long will she be there for? There's someone coming from operating theatre. They need a bed. And suddenly this person's last dying moments became a logistical problem that was now mine to solve. I often wonder how we can talk about dignity and death, and in the same breath then argue that this bed is no longer seen as a spare space, but now argued to be a waste. Eventually, this lady was moved into a single room. Her family were by her side, and that moment changed entirely for them. They were completely unaware of the conversations happening. They were completely aware of the bureaucracy and the politics behind the scenes. But they surrounded their mother with love, with comfort. And she died there, surrounded by her family and members of her church, who were singing her to heaven, as they say. It's moments like this that you'll forever cherish in your time working. I know it's something we don't always get the exposure to. That made me reflect on what it means to be a doctor. Being a patient advocate is one of the strongest things that I hold in my psyche, I guess, as a clinician. And despite sometimes not really understanding what it feels like to be in the acute pain or the distress or receiving a horrifying diagnosis that's going to change your life forever, know that we do see you. Know that I try and feel what you're feeling. So despite all of the things going on in the system, we return to our basics. We return to humanity, to peace, and to dignity. The goal of medicine is not always to add days to our lives, but sometimes to add life to our days. So next time someone walks into the emergency department, it may possibly be the worst day of their entire life. Perhaps one of the most important things that we can actually do is take a moment to stop and actually realize that.